Hello there, this is the Lion Group, and we're going to go over our website. We did the online and social media topic in our museum website, and we did it from the decades 1960s, 1970s, 1980s, 1990s, 2000s, and 2010s. First, in the 1960s, in the computer world, in 1961, they came out with the time-sharing systems, and this was developed in the early 60s to allow many users to share a computer and its resources simultaneously. A time-sharing system, PC system, was developed to provide an interactive way to use a PC for multiple users logging in and out. That use one CPU and mainframe. Also, some notes and features of the time-sharing system. It had one of the first computerized text formatting utilities. It had a text editor called the QED. It had printers, punch card readers, 2 custom high-speed vector graphic displays, and the programming languages were FAP and MAD, which is a compiler, and of course Fortran, which was MAD code. It had file systems. It was definitely pre-email and pre-internet. And then in 1969 along came CompuServe, and it was the first major commercial online service in the US and had vast network. It was founded in '69 as Computer Time Sharing Services out in Ohio, and it was the first major online service. It had time sharing, data collections, screening and reporting tools, and electronic mail and technical support. Next, in the 1970s, we have the first email, and that used ARPANET, if I'm saying that correctly. And then 74 was the Talkomatic, and 1978 was the bulletin board system, or the beginning of it. So this guy, Ray Tomlinson, he was the first person to send an email. It was shipped out. He established this way of separating man and machine using the @ symbol. Pretty interesting. And then here's the image of a bulletin board Talkomatic in 1974, where people, it looked like some older instant messaging people online. And then the bulletin board system in 1978, and you can set up modern connected computers. This allowed users to dial into and gain access to a terminal. BBSs, or bulletin board systems, were in many cases just someone's home computer, and they were allowed to access it from their home to communicate, obviously. But next we have the 1980s decade. And the 1980s decades was a lot of technological breakthroughs. As you can see, there's a fax machine, mobile phone, an old mobile phone. There was cordless telephones, that walk phone, I think we used to call them, that always used to get struck by lightning. There was the Motorola pager, or many company pagers, but we can all remember those, sending messages, small messages, whether it's in numbers or words. And then in the 1990s, we had a boom started happening, which led us into modern times. The first modems began to hit. This is a PCI modem. Here's a electronic bulletin board system, which is really cool. And it says, along with the rise of in speed and increase of personal use modems came the electronic BBS system. The modem would dial in to a server that would allow users to chat. Then came America Online, and I think we all remember that. Even though they began to flourish after CompuServe, American Online bought CompuServe, and Prodigy existed. American Online, AOL, would perhaps be remembered as the first major paid online service. And then we had the two-way pagers, which got a little bit fancier. We could actually send text sentences to each other instead of little short one-way messages. And then came cell phones, modern cell phones. Cell phones decreased to pocket size and were no longer just for the profession on the go. And they averaged about $200, including airtime. So the next we have the 2000s. And then as far as social media came, we saw MySpace, and MySpace, LinkedIn, Skype, they all launched attempting to use online communication as their business, allowing for users to instantly send messages to other users and transfer files. Obviously, we know Facebook launched in 2004, and it now is the most popular, obviously, and has over 2 billion users as of last year, 2017. Then YouTube, we all love YouTube, where we get tutorials and stuff like that. It was launched in 2005, and it has an estimated 1.3 billion users, so not as much as Facebook, but I think we all like YouTube more than Facebook. Then Twitter launches in 2006, and you can send quick snippets of news or small amounts of text to people, whoever has an account over the internet. Very quick form of communication. And then along came the iPhone in 2007, and this would be very revolutionary with a responsive touch screen and operating system, and it's considered a smartphone. All social media outlets, including sites like Facebook, Twitter, Skype, were involved in it. And then the iPad, which could be seen as a larger iPhone, and you could do more like a personal computer without the mouse. And then we have the 2010s. Instagram was the latest and the greatest form of social media where you could share pictures. Of course, they were bought out by Facebook later. It was a very good release, or good startup. And then Snapchat more recently, where you can send messages, and then they would only last for so long, and then you could just pick silly little images and just use little cartoons to put on your face and stuff like that, just silly stuff. But anyways, there's Snapchat. And then over here on our main page we have a carousel displaying the decades, the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, 2000s, and 2010s. So we have this little graphic. This was done by Steve with, I don't know if you can tell, the computer images behind the letters. So this is the Lion Group, representing online social media and communications from the 60s through the 2010s. Thank you very much, and goodbye.